We're dancing in the rain, dancing in the rain.
Hi Candy, how are you doing today?
I am doing very well. How are you?
I am great. Thank you for asking. I just want to say that I really appreciate you meeting with me today and telling your story and opening up to me and the Greek community as well as Second Life. Um, what I want to do first is just allow you to tell me a little bit about your story and how you weather the storm.
I'm too stupid to quit. I don't know how to just give up. I don't know how to say this is enough. I'm never defeated. I always go into everything with a positive mental attitude. I have my days where I'm down and out, but every day that I wake up is a new day to begin anew. And I embrace it. I take it. I was never raised to accept excuses. Subpar is just not good enough. I'm not perfect, nor do I ever strive to be. And I embrace it and love my flaws. It wasn't something that I was so woes with me. I didn't have time. I don't have that many hours in a day. So I take every moment as a gift. And I just keep going forward. There's been nothing that has been thrown in my path to stop me yet. And I don't think there ever will be.
Thank you, Candy. That was very motivational and very well said. Let me ask you this. When were you diagnosed with cancer? If you could tell me a little bit about the type of cancer you have and or had and how you were diagnosed.
I was diagnosed in 2005. I was 27 years old, and I was diagnosed with stage 3 follicular thyroid cancer. I started gaining weight. Now, I'm not a stick, but I mean, like, I was running, and when I was 90 pounds and light as air, I was not a runner. And I just went into the doctor for a physical, and she grabbed my hand, and she's like, "You're clammy." And I was like, "Okay, this is Florida. It's 100 degrees outside." She was like, "And your heart rate, you're running at 102 beats per minute, and you're resting. You've been sitting here a while." And I was like, "Mm-hmm." And upon physical examination, she was like, "You have a very large goiter." I was like, "Oh, that thing in my neck?" I was like, "Yeah, it's kind of sore. I thought it was a sore throat." It became a windfall from that moment on. It just happened so fast. I went from downstairs to upstairs, and this was the same day. And they were like, "We're getting ready to do a biopsy." And I was like, "Okay, well, let's schedule this appointment." And they was like, "No, we're doing this right now." And that's when the shock set in. Because for anyone that doesn't know, to have a fine needle aspiration, they don't numb you. They just go straight into your throat. So I was not prepared. I wanted to weigh my options. The survival rate and the success rate is great, but there was a chance of it spreading to my other organs. I have been battling this since. Several surgeries, several bouts with radiation. Ultimately, I had to have a total thyroidectomy and several rounds of radiation. I actually had a round of radiation last year because they were still finding cells outside of the area of where my thyroid is. I have a beautiful scar that I love. It looks like I tried to slit my own throat, but there was so much going on in my life at that time, and I was being so blessed and challenged by Satan. I didn't have time to put myself first in my life, and I put off having surgery for a year, and I paid for it. My hair began to fall out. I became sicker and sicker, weak, but at the same time, I was doing my medical internship. My youngest son was diagnosed with type 1 juvenile onset diabetes, and for the people that don't know what that is, his body no longer makes insulin, so he's on lifelong insulin. But I was in a good place. God put me in a good place because I was back home. We were stationed back in Florida, and I was surrounded by my family, and I had a very good support system, but I'm a very private person, so they didn't know everything that I was dealing with. For my initial surgery, it took them 3 tries because they couldn't even intubate me. A couple of years went by after the initial bout, and for the next round of surgeries, I went in just for a routine appointment, and my doctor ordered an ultrasound, and he called me on a Saturday morning. He said, I know you told me you had a partial thyroidectomy, but I'm looking at your ultrasound and I'm showing a complete thyroid. They didn't take anything out. And I panicked. I noticed I wasn't feeling better. I was still having the same symptoms. I was getting sicker and sicker. What happened was the first piece of my thyroid that they removed was the size of a softball. And it had deviated my trachea, which made it look like an S, and displaced my heart. And now I was being faced with a malpractice suit because after all of that, they're telling me that nothing was done. Ultimately, what was found was the thyroid continued to grow. I continued to develop tumors in my thyroid. And I had to undergo surgery again in 2009. That surgery I did not wake up from. That surgery put me into a coma. That surgery scared me. I was scared going into that surgery. And I called my uncle before the surgery, and I was like, I'm really, really scared. I don't know why. I'm just not feeling good about this at all. What was supposed to be a 2-hour procedure ended up being 7 hours and 2 surgical teams. Because again, it had grown so large, it had displaced itself down into my chest. My aorta is really high. My body habit is the way that I'm shaped funny because I'm short and kind of compact. They came within inches of hitting my aortic artery. So I ended up in a coma. And I ended up on a breathing machine. And one thing I say to people now after going through that, never stop talking to people, even when you think they are responsive, even when you think that they don't hear you. My uncle is a talker. He never shuts up. And the entire time I was in that coma, he sat there and he talked to everybody coming in the room. I can remember hearing my mother screaming on the phone. I can remember him reading scripture to me. And I can remember people saying, she needs to wake up. She needs to wake up. But it was all mental. There was nothing physical there. The hardest part was waking up. When you want to wake up, when your mind is telling your body to wake up and your body does not respond to you. Going through radiation, even being on lifelong medication now, and I'm horrible with taking a pill. That was the hardest fight of my life, waking myself up. Reaching back and finding something that is not there. There is nothing harder than that. I went into every surgery with a fighting spirit. I made my peace with God. I was happy. I was good. But that was the first time I can say that I ever felt fear. I have battled it every day since then. It affects everything on you. Everything. I still am developing secondary complications even now. But I take it as a grain of salt. Okay, we're going to deal with this today, and we're going to deal with that tomorrow.
Candii, how important is it for family members or friends to dance in the rain with you?
I wouldn't have this umbrella, that's for one. I believe that the rain is cleansing to you. You have to get out there, you have to be open, you have to open yourself up to feel. You gotta take the good with the bad. Don't protect yourself from the rain. Allow it to cleanse you. Bring others into you. Share what you've been through. No one can truly walk in your shoes and understand the path that you've taken, but they can rejoice in your happiness, in your rebirth. Every time it rains, the Lord washes the earth, and everything grows anew. Give them that. Let them have that. Let them share that with you. It's so very important. It's a part of the process of healing.
Can I ask you a question? Well, another question.
Yes, of course.
Can I dance in the rain with you?
You can. Please.
Awesome. Awesome. Let's get up and
Actually,
dance.
one of
in
my
this rain.
favorite old movies is Singing in the Rain.
That's great. So we're gonna go ahead and get up and just dance through this rain, dance through the storm, dance through this, and get through. And I really do appreciate you sharing your story and giving huge insight to me on who you are and the storm and the weather that you've overcome. And I do thank you again, Candii.
Oh, it was truly my pleasure, and I thank you for having me and giving me the opportunity to tell my story.
We're dancing.